Good afternoon, everybody. This is Joe Sonona with Sonona Speaks Seminars Coffee Talk episode this week. My guest speaker is Rachel Warrell from eXp Realty. How are you, Rachel?
I'm doing well, Joe. How are you? How are things in New York?
I'm doing great. How are things in Florida?
Great. I'd say the market is on fire. It was on pause for a little bit, and boom, as soon as they opened vacation rentals over here in my county, over in the Northwest Florida area, it's been great.
Awesome. Where are you in Florida?
So I'm in Northwest Florida, Panama City Beach specifically. Some people may have heard of it. It's the spring break capital of the world, but it's definitely a lot more family friendly than it used to be back in the day. And yeah, we've got gorgeous white sandy beaches, the Gulf of Mexico, and yeah, basically live in paradise.
You are living the dream. So let me ask you, tell me a little bit about yourself, your history, how you got started in real estate, etc.
Okay, absolutely. So actually, this is my second year in real estate. I got started in real estate. I'd always wanted to get into real estate, but I never did. Now, I had a Category 5 hurricane hit my area, and I had known from experience from going through bad hurricanes before that the real estate market, it actually creates a big boom because of supply and demand, right? So actually had the courage to get into real estate, and I mean, this is what I love doing, and I'm just so glad that I had the courage to actually do it, because this is what should have been doing the whole time.
It shows, it actually very much shows that you love real estate. And, I always ask my guests on this show, like they're listers like yourself. And the first question I ask is, what is your secret sauce to listing properties?
Well, I will say I don't know if I have a secret sauce. I guess my personality, I kind of lean towards sellers typically. I'm very to the point. I'm very, down to business. And what I do is I actually I make phone calls and cold call for my listings. And I use the Ricky Carruth approach, where I have the best intentions when I make my calls. If someone is motivated, okay, great, I'm there to help. If not, is it cool if I stay in touch? And that's how I built my business.
So you build your business through relationships, and like he says, relationships over transactions.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm telling you that I would say 95%, maybe more, of agents that are making those phone calls are super pushy. They're not very personable, and people, they can smell that. They can smell the hunger, and it turns people off. So if you approach it from, hey, is there anything in the world I can do to help you? Or you give them market information, they'll connect with you 9 times out of 10.
So the objective is not to be pushy.
Yeah, the objective is to see if you can help. And always, I don't care if you're circle prospecting or calling fresh expireds. The objective is to see, hey, is there anything in the world I can do to help? And I'm telling you, it comes across to people, and it sets you apart.
That's awesome. Tell me, what is your advice to a new agent getting into the business? You've been in business 2 years. So what is the first year of the don't do's kind of?
That's a great question. So I would have done things so much differently going into it. So I joined a real estate team at first, and the split was not it was not the best for me. And not all teams are the same, but I would say that a new agent, you just got to know, look, you are going to get told no again and again and again, and that's okay. And you're going to fall on your face and you're going to bomb, but don't be scared. Keep going. If it were easy, everyone would do it. And
True.
just keep going. You got this.
Mhm. So that's the advice. Keep going, just keep going,
And be
and don't give up.
careful. Yeah, and be careful on do your research with your brokers, and be careful on who you choose to go into this business with. You want to make sure that you're going with someone who's actually going to invest some time and help you. And you also need to make sure that you know you are at the end of the day okay with rejection, with failing, and just get back up and keep going.
What would you, looking at older people in the business, such as myself, being a seasoned agent, as they say, what would your advice be just from your observation? Because I always like to get the opinion of someone who's new, someone who's coming into this their own now. We call this year sophomore year, second year
Mhm.
in the business, where you see your systems all in place. You got pretty much your niche where you want to be. So what would you advise us older agents to be, and to what we should be doing?
Well, that's a great question. I'll tell you that there are a lot of very seasoned agents in my market that have been doing real estate for, probably longer than I've been alive, right? But also, I think even though you are seasoned and you've got a great book of business, I don't care where you are in this stage of the business. It's your job as a real estate agent to call, even if it's your past clients, or even if it's new people. You can provide so much value and knowledge and confidence, but if you're not making those phone calls, then somebody like me who's on the phone, it's that's I guess, and I see that all the time. Agents that have, maybe they listed an entire condo building in 2006, right before the bubble burst, and have had this farm going. Well, they're not making calls during pandemics, checking to see how people are, and I think that's a big mistake on their part. I
And
mean,
what kind of communication should we be using? Like, I know a lot of people my age in the business. I won't say my age group, but my age in the business have this phobia, this fear of not calling so much people because we're used to calling them, but technology. And what kind of technology do you use to communicate with your clientele?
well, so I do a weekly email, and I try to keep it as, build your personal brand. I'm not for everyone, and I realize that not everyone's going to be my client, but stay true to yourself. Make sure you're staying in touch with your clients through that way. And but I mean, I'll tell you, you can blow it up on social media and be entertaining and all this. But at the end of the day, if you're not making calls, especially to property owners, you're not going to attract the sellers, which is what I concentrate on. Yes, you might get some buyers that they love your content, they feel like they know you, but buyers are very time consuming, and I tend to stick with buyers that are, people I've done business with in the past, or that are from my sphere of influence. um,
Yeah.
to an extent, social media, I will do that. Somebody who sees me on YouTube. um, but sellers, it's where it's at, time wise.
I tell that to my agents on my team. I always say, if you get the listings, you'll certainly get the customers for them, and the ones that are very real are the ones that are going to buy, and the ones that are going to time waste, are the ones that you're just going to keep in a book, called Not So Hot, lead. And eventually they'll buy, but you don't want to waste your time taking people out. I mean, this is not a Sunday afternoon drive. Do you know, when I was little, my parents used to take me on a Sunday afternoon drive, and we used to be, they had a hobby, they would go into people's, open houses and just look at the house and just say, maybe we're thinking about buying. We don't know. They weren't serious about buying, but it was sort of like a hobby. Oh, let's take a look at this house, blah, blah, blah. And they're still the same people almost 40 years later.
Yes. Oh, yeah. And if you have an open house or something, just most of the neighbors are going to stop by just to see what it looks like in there. And, not all buyers are like that. First-time home buyers or, buyers that are motivated. But I vibe with sellers all the time. I'm just very honest, straightforward. That's another thing I would definitely recommend to a new agent. Make sure you can do a CMA, do your market research, make that your area of expertise, because people will know if you're full of it. You need to know what you're talking about.
And back to the season, would you recommend like Facebook, Instagram? Because you're very, very noticeable on Instagram a lot. And you don't do, well, we'll get to that next question. But would you recommend that to a seasoned agent?
To an extent, it can help you build any agent. You need to have a personal brand. People need to know when they think of you, they need to know your name. They need to have a feel for your personality, because like I said, I'm not going to be the agent for everyone. Right. And that's okay. That is totally fine. But for a lot of people, they're kind of drawn into my edgier social media. Do I think it's a must for a seasoned agent? No, as long as you are making sure that you are keeping those relationships alive with your past client, your book of business, and you're doing things like taking them to lunch, whatever, that's important.
So let's talk about your social media. Mm-hmm. How many times a day do you post on Instagram? Do you do anything with Facebook or just Instagram?
I do business Facebook. And so what I do is I post to Instagram, my business Facebook, LinkedIn, and usually TikTok. Well, I don't post to TikTok once a day, but I post it. Yeah. I've actually gotten listings off of TikTok.
Really?
Yeah. But that's what I do. So, and Google Business. So at least once a day. I don't post to Google Business once a day.
So Instagram, TikTok, what else?
Okay, Instagram, Facebook Business, and then LinkedIn once a day. It never fails, except for on the weekends. I don't always post. So Saturday and Sunday, I usually take a break.
Now, I've watched you stay in good health. You jog and you actually are posting. What kind of feedback do you get from people? Do they think it's kind of like, hey, I see you in a different light, or do they see you as an agent? I mean, what's your feedback?
Okay, that is a great question, especially when I first started on TikTok. So no other agent in my market especially was doing the lip syncing videos or coming at the marketing like I did. So I raised some eyebrows. I'm not gonna lie. However, I have caught the attention of agents in my market and then people in my market doing what I do. And it's just me. It's who I am. I'm a little edgier. I'm a little, you don't know what's gonna come out of my mouth. And
risque.
No, it's not risque. I wouldn't say at all. It's just, it's in your face.
Right.
You're not going to miss it. I mean, people talk about which is, what do you want? I mean, if you're
I
posting
got
where
news for you. They're going to talk about this interview too when it's
you think
done.
so. Well,
Well,
I mean,
they talk about coffee talk. The agents talk about coffee talk, and they learn, what we're teaching them here.
yeah.
So so people are going to talk no matter what I think medium we use, right? But do they talk more because you're on TikTok, or they talk more because you're on Instagram?
So I use TikTok and I post that to other platforms, right? So I make these videos that are very unconventional, especially now. However, people now, agents in my market, and then I've noticed other are posting TikToks, but as you know, other agents in my market, I mean, they're starting to do the same stuff I was doing. And when I first started, they were like, "Did you see what she posted?" But that's the point of it, right?
That's
I
right.
mean,
Imitation's the best form of flattery.
well, it's not the imitation that
Are they
it's
trying to imitate you, or are they doing something different?
well, I think some of them they are doing a little bit of what I'm doing, but as a new agent, I kind of started out imitating other agents that I
Mm.
wanted to be like, and that's totally fine. I mean, Ricky Caruth's weekly email, I'm telling you, when I first started doing it, I would just copy him. Like, I'm just going to do what he does, and it's fine. That is totally fine. You just, because you got to start somewhere, right?
What has been your success rate with his techniques?
I mean, I owe him everything. As far as when I went solo, I did that 28-day challenge, the 90-day challenge. I did that later, but the 28-day challenge, I'm my business blew up and going live, and he's the one. He got me on TikTok, and then Gary Vee was talking about TikTok. And as far as personal brand and the reach, it's amazing, and consistency and in putting that out there, because the more people that know you and know your personality, they're going to feel more comfortable with you. You're not going to be just somebody who's calling. They're going, I know you.
That's right. Or you're in the supermarket one day and they're like, "Aren't you that person?" That's scary. That's the
Happens
scary part.
that happens to me now, and I'm like, oh,
I feel like I'm being stalked that way.
yeah. Or you'll walk into a restaurant and they're like, they kind of look at you, and I'm like, do I know this person? I don't know. It's weird, but
It
it
is
works.
weird. It is weird. My wife listens to these, so my wife can tell you that she goes to supermarket and I have it all over Facebook, Instagram. Some pictures of myself, my wife, my family, and they'll say, "Aren't you Joe Sonona's wife?" And she'll be like, "Whoa, get away
Oh.
from me!" That's a little too creepy. But she herself is a realtor, and she's gotten leads that way because of the branding, because it's so. I would think that personal branding is good to some degree for us, for
Mhm.
us listers, because at least people see that we're relevant and we're staying relevant in our industry. You get a lot of listings, and
Mhm.
do you attribute it also to what you're saying or how you're getting it? Do you attribute it just to Instagram or any of those other social media?
My listings, so pretty much, I mean, I've only gotten listings from social media here recently, but I would say before, gosh, up until like the last 2 months, every single one of my listings has all come from cold calling. Now, your clients will follow you on social media, they love it, and they're your biggest fans because they trust you, they know you, they like what you're doing, and so they'll help promote you. But I've only recently actually gotten any listings from social media.
Mm.
So calling, I mean, and I know it's uncomfortable for everyone. I
Yeah.
don't care if you're a season, sometimes it can be scary to call somebody you don't know, or if you're new, it's terrifying. It just, you got to do it, man. If you want that business, and if you want to grow your business and last, I mean, listings are where it's at.
A lot of people say, they don't like to cold call, they don't like to circle prospect, and I say, how are you gonna make money in this business if you're afraid to do both.
You got to, man. You got to put yourself out there. And are people going to be rude to you? Yes. Are you going to probably, suck at first? Yeah. I mean, that's okay. Everyone does. You're not, it's not everyone just picks up the phone and is like, hey, you want to list your house? And then no, you're going to fall on your face. That's okay. Get back up, do it again. Keep going.
And a lot of people, some people who are genuinely interested in selling their home, I think they want to hear from somebody who's genuine and not someone who sounds like a telemarketer, correct?
Correct. When I first started on the phone, even when I was on the team, that's what I did. I always called, except for I was using those pushy scripts and those objection handlers. Oh my gosh! And then it's not what you want to do. People get turned off by it unless they're super desperate, and then they still don't really trust you, right? So you might have a listing agreement and you might go to listing presentation and basically just kind of uncomfortably go for the close, get that signature, and the whole deal, when you're talking about price reductions, when you're talking about negotiating, they don't trust you because you didn't earn it. So you got to connect with people. You better be there with the best intentions possible. Otherwise, you don't need to be in real estate.
And
Period.
if they see you nervous, they see you apprehensive in any way, shape, or form, they're not going to be able to not just trust you, but they won't trust that you can deliver the goose that lays the golden egg for them. And basically, you look weak. You look weak
Well,
in your negotiating power,
it's
right?
not the Okay, so whenever you're a new agent, you're probably going to have the butterflies, right? You're going to be a little nervous. If they ask you a question, you're probably not going to know the answer, depending. So if you always approach it as, hey, I'm here to help you and I'm going to do the best job for you and I've got you. Like we're in this together. That comes across, and they're not going to be, you know, trying to ask you all these crazy questions and they thinking that you're totally full of crap, because if people can tell too if you're putting on airs and you're
Right,
trying to.
right.
So you gotta be there to help them, and you have to communicate that I am here for you. And that's how I've gotten the listings I've gotten especially when I was, a new agent as well.
How many calls a day do you make?
Today I made 60 calls. Only had one contact. I had called a neighborhood and I had a bunch of not very good numbers, but like wrong numbers for the data. It was, I don't know, sometimes that happens. Just depends on the day. Sometimes I make 100 calls a day. Sometimes I make 200 calls a day. I focus on the contacts. I focus on the quality of conversations, and if they trust me enough to give me their email address, and that is my focus.
That's awesome. Well,
Yeah.
is there any final thought you want to add on this program for anybody looking, listening at this for Coffee Talk?
Uh, as far as new
Last
agent,
minute advice to anybody out there looking at this who's an agent, who's learning from you?
just do you. Be genuine. You may not have my personality style. You may not do all the crazy Instagram, whatever videos, and that's okay. People, I'm not for everyone. You may be that person's agent. You may be a little bit more poised and a little bit calmer, and that might translate to someone else. And I would just say, just be yourself. Don't be afraid to mess up, because you are going to mess up. You're going to screw up over and over again. But that's not the point. Just got to keep going and be yourself. And yeah, I mean, I guess that's about it. At the end of the day, that's just keep going.
Keep going. That's our mantra. Keep going. Well, Rachel Warrell, it's a pleasure. It was an honor to have you on our program, and I look forward to referring all my people down to you So refer your people up to New York. No, that doesn't
Absolutely.
work,
Thank you
especially they
so
don't want
much,
the cold
Joe.
winters. But thank you very much for being on this program. This is Joe Sonona with Sonona Speaks Seminars, presenting Coffee Talk, and my guest this week has been Rachel Warrell from eXp Realty in Florida, Panama City, Florida.
Yes, and if you want to check out my crazy social media, my handle is Rachel Warrell Realtor on Instagram, as well as Facebook. Ah,
Great.
there's my little girl. Sorry.
There's the future in the making. No problem. Have a
Exactly.
good day, everyone. Take care. Be well.
Thank you.